So this is it. This is our rather ambiguous front end. Again, keeping it real. That's our Enigma code up there. I'll tell you about that later. This is a code you put in, and it just.
Yeah, don't tell them too.
I'm not going to tell them what the code is, but I mean, I don't really know myself at the moment because it's not implemented. We have a notion of how it's going to work. But there's a freak. The idea is, and it's kind of it's a stretch goal. It's a stretch goal that might not actually stretch to anything real, but we'll see. But the idea is that there's going to be one physical copy of this game in the entire universe. And we'll make it. I'll make it, and we'll build it. And whoever gets this, whoever solves this little puzzle in the game, this kind of cryptic conundrum, this codex, which is what this is part of, will and rings up this phone number or however we do it. We're not really decided on that yet. How we're going to encrypt all that to make sure that whoever's got it has bought the game and also.
It's mostly that they bought the game.
Well, there's that. No, they've got to get this. Whatever this is, this thing, we can't even say what it is because that would be too much of a clue as to where to look. But it's not going to be easy, let's put it that way. But they will get the only physical copy that will ever exist of this game. Which will be about as handmade as it comes. So you got that to look forward to. That's our little thing. But anyway, onwards. So. Well, we kind of keep it simple. We'll probably be less simple than this. The idea is you've only got 3 options: start a new game, go on with your old one, or just leave, just go home. But we might have a few more options than that. I don't really want it. I want to keep everything kind of simple. So, and in we go. So bear in mind, this is like as early alpha as you can get. Let me just turn off that. These are sort of how we do it. Well, cutscenes are all done with layers. So it all uses the same engine. Which I can show you. The way it's been edited at the moment.
He's come back on.
Yeah. And this is kind of the start of the game. So you've got this little. The way we're structuring it is you've got this little this narrator, I guess. An unreliable narrator.
Yes.
That's the way we look at it. Is she reliable? Isn't she? We don't know. Who is she? Who isn't she? Whatever. Then you've got whoever's telling you. Oh, that don't worry about that. That was the disc drive.
Well, this isn't the final release.
Juddering. It's because of the capture. Sometimes you'll get these little judders every now and again, and what it is the capture's saving one file and creating one. So I don't know that.
Yeah, of course. They're 4 gig, aren't they?
Yeah, they're 4 gigs. So there's lots of protagonists going on in the background, even though Rusty's sort of the focus. There's the narrator. There's whoever's giving you help here. There's whoever this hand belongs to, which if you look is kind of like a little doll's hand. And that is essentially you, the player, whoever you are. And then any other characters that come in, so that the main baddie will come in. And that'll have a different font and different kind of voice and stuff. There aren't too many characters. It's quite simple. This is essentially the first level. It teaches you the very basic mechanics of the lights, which I guess are breadcrumbs.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
They look quite simple, but there's a lot of little rules. There's lots of little rules that we don't tell you about that you've kind of got to find out to do with how lights work and how he behaves relative to the different types of lights in the world. And the lights are just one element to the gameplay. It's a pillar element, but it's one of a few pillar elements to how the game is played. As you can probably tell, he is not something you can really control. You can sort of. You can influence him reasonably directly, or you can influence him by trying to guide him by moving stuff around and placing stuff. Stuff which you find and stuff which you can build from the crafting system, which is being implemented as we speak. It's designed. We've got all the assets, haven't we?
Yeah.
We're just kind of hooking it all in now, but that'll be for a later devlog. So that again, the sound. I mean, the little girl, bit of a rod for the writer's back, i.e. me, is that everything's in. It's a poem. Everything's in. It stands out, and I think that works really well. If it was just spoken, don't think it just wouldn't.
No.
It would be so kind of flat and stilted, but because it's all in prose, in poetry, not prose, it's like it has a cadence to it, like the music of it. It's like a bum, 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 and that is good because it means I'm a lot tighter with how I write it. It's not going to be
There's not
a
a lot of
boolean
wastage.
Yeah, it's got to do what it needs to do. So this is one of this sort of second pillar mechanics, which is building stuff. Now, in this case, you've been given these. These are just stone platforms, and all these platforms do different jobs, and you can build them anywhere. And on this is the training level, you're restricted to just here, so it's red. But that's just this level, just so that people understand that this is the gap you need to fill. And you can get rid of them if you want. Which probably only gets them back. We've got 5 back. There's a bug there, Sean. He said he got 5 back. Should have got 3. See that? I told you it's alpha.
I'll fix it now.
It's alright. That's probably one of the other one's problems. Our other team member.
I have to beat him with a stick.
Or is it her?
You have to not zip around as much. They need to see how beautiful your levels
I
are.
am, but I'm kind of.
Yeah.
It's very simple. So also these different lights do different things. So this is a proximity light, and we've got on-off lights. We've got static lights that are just on. And as I say, he behaves differently depending on. So in the dark, his behaviour changes on edges. And these aren't things we're really teaching you. They're sort of subtly told to you that it's something. These are things that are important to know. And although this is quite a linear level, it is the start. And it's the very first
feel
thing
quite
you do.
content,
It's
but
not
now
really, there's no real puzzle here. It is literally
really
the same.
safe.
It's important.
And
You
now
might
it's
want to
to
know
be
about this.
seen.
I'm not a big fan of training levels, so I'm trying to keep these things as simple as possible in the game. But and that's really how it starts. This is as much as our cutscenes go, really, isn't it? In-game cutscenes. It's literally
Quite a skill.
the beginning of the
Did I
game.
hear something?
Literally the beginning of the
Yeah,
game. As we
pretty much
introduce,
starts after this.
this is the sort of, this is our title screen, which is a level. It's also a level from later on in the game. If you look around, you can quite see, oh, there's other stuff going on.
Click,
So
clack,
you will come back
dog.
to earlier places.
Smash, smash, tender cogs.
But to begin
Oh,
with,
Dear,
it's literally just
looky here. This doesn't look
the
like
setting the
Christie's
scene, as
clock.
it were.
All askew.
There's a few sound effects missing here. I mean, as I say, there's little bits and bobs,
Lest we run
but
out.
you're getting a fairly vertical slice of kind of what it is we're trying to do.
Gather up, little friend. Now
What
is the
it's a,
time to be bold.
I don't know, we're going to use the word
There's a-
spiritual successor, but
there's
we're
a-
not going to use that because it doesn't apply.
We have no
A
spirit.
story of
No.
hope
It's quite a sad little tale,
and the not.
but it's got moments of...
A yarn which unfolds.
And hopefully,
It's like
it's
wings of
hopefully people
dark
think it's
rot.
quite well written because I've spent quite a lot of
Fear not
time
if you can,
on the
but it's all
on what
in
the story
mind.
is and how it's revealed.
Move ahead.
It isn't,
Always plan,
hopefully, it isn't too
lest
cliche.
this world be unkind.
Or conversely to that, which is I don't
For
know if
as
it's
it
worse than
begins,
cliche, but
then
it's
so it
pretentious.
will.
It might be a bit
Things that will
pretentious, but
come.
hopefully it isn't.
The past we dig up.
No, it's
The
charming.
unlikely
It is
legend.
charming. It's a little bit sad, but it's,
Melancholy.
it is. But it's nice. It's a nice little tale. And that's the game starts proper, and you're basically left to your own devices.
Yeah.
So is the speech gone in? There's no the speech. We've recorded the speech for this bit here now. but
Yeah.
It's not gone in yet. So I haven't got that version.
No, you haven't got it.
So
We'll have.
So there'll be a little bit more speech here, and this is the first level where you kind of sort of says, right, off you go, solve the puzzle. You need to get out, find the exit. There's things to collect, like these brains here. And we could play it if we wanted, but it'd be a bit dull. I don't know if we want to play it. I don't want to play it. I don't think I will.
No,
I think that's a
yeah.
little enough teaser. Suffice to say, they're very sort of basic pillar mechanics. There's a lot of other things in there.
Time you woke up.
That we're not going to show. We'll be revealing over the next few months. And all these mechanics kind of layer on top of each other. So, but initially the important ones are how do lights work, different platforms I can get. So now I'm a bit more freeform with what I can do with the platforms. And you've basically got to solve the puzzle. You're going to go, okay, got to get in from there. I presume, down to here. How the heck do I do that? And off you go. And some puzzles are cunning, some are more cunning. And some are so cunning,
Yeah,
you could put a, you could, what is it, stick a hat on a fox and call him Mr. Cunning. Oh, and if you're not quick off the mark, he goes to sleep. So you've got to give him a little cat. So you do interact with him every now and again.
Yeah.
You can make presents for him. So there's other stuff you can make. So these are the platforms that you give and you get from boxes. But you can actually make stuff when you get to the crafting section, which isn't unlocked till probably about a good player, probably about 45 minutes, 50 minutes into the game.
Yeah, because you can influence him across.
You can influence him quite directly
Yeah.
if you use. We can probably show some.
But it's not a
Quick.
platformer where you move Rusty around a level. It's
No.
a bit more.
You can
puzzle.
influence him a lot more directly than we are at the moment.
Yeah.
But that doesn't come until later. And it's hard. It's quite hard, I'd say.
Yeah.
But when you understand.
Hard but fair.
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing, isn't it?
It's logical. So.
Absolutely logical. There's nothing cheesy in here as far as gameplay goes. It's like the reason why you failed is because you haven't understood how some things worked. And you may say, "Oh, that's because you didn't teach me properly." It's like, well, you've got to find these things out by
You've
trial
gotta
and
figure
error.
something out, yeah.
So on here, for instance, you've got to work out, well, how do I avoid whatever it is I avoid? And there's two ways of doing that. You just play it through and see how far you get and work it out from there. Or you try and work it out during the grace time at the beginning of the game where you can sort of go, okay, I get it. And as you do more stuff, you'll learn more of the little tricks and the little secrets about how the platforms work. Because there's not just one type. We've got stone here at the moment, but there's 4 fundamental platforms, and then there's other ones that are versions of those that have slightly different behaviours.
Then you've got all the influences that we've got as well.
Well, we've got little characters that influence him, he influences them. There's no real baddies in the game as such. There's one protagonist who appears to be a baddie and intimidates you, but it's not really that kind of game. And like all the kind of roaming baddies, which are all rats, it's a variation of robot rats, which is linked to the story. They're all kind of just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And they just get in your way and you get in their way. But they're not. There's no menace there from them, other than that they can create a few problems for you. So, like for this level, for instance, this is our editor basically. This is how we build our levels, and that's our level. And that's probably about a week's work to get to that stage. From like having nothing, literally having a notion of what we need to do on the level. Like, oh, we need what have we learned at this point? We need this kind of platform. We need to know about this kind of jump. We've learned about this kind of jump. We need to teach about this kind of peril. We need 2 brains on here. Brains are currency. So you collect those. They kind of do 2 things. They unlock memories, which will reveal stuff to do with the story, and they also unlock doors. They're like cash from a certain other game that we're not going to mention, are we?
No.
Did I tell you you're going to have a little robot squirrel you can build in this? I haven't told you about that. But...
No, you haven't.
It's an Easter egg, but not anymore. It would seem because I've just told
that's
everyone.
it. Completely ruined that one.
I don't know what it does. I think what it'll do is it's quite funny. Oh god, I'm probably going to do
Chuckles and throws sweet corn at you.
No, it doesn't do anything. You just hang it. It's hung by its neck, and you can just place it in the level, and it just hangs there. It doesn't do anything.
Wobbling.
It's just there.
Gently.
And Rusty looks at it and will probably say something like, "Oh, that looks familiar." What are we talking about?
The editor, we should say.
So that's like that's this one. We'll just get out of it. What we'll do is we'll get one from. This is a Devlog, don't forget. So let's go to some. So this is our overall menu, which is less flash.
We should say that this all came about because we started on the iPad.
We did. We were on the
So,
iPad to begin with.
yeah.
We wanted to edit directly into the game.
Yeah, it was so that you could sit on the loo and build
Build levels, yeah.
So
But it's too fiddly, so we moved to PC and I've found it a lot easier. I mean, originally I was designing levels on paper, and then Sean was putting them in, and then I was dressing them. But it's just, I needed to just get in there, didn't I?
Yeah.
And so we this level, which what Sean was using, it made it more thicky, artist friendly, I guess.
We've kept it pretty simple. We just haven't gone overboard and.
It does
done
what
the
I need it
windows.
to do, basically.
Yeah.
So,
I
and we
still
might
use it on the iPad.
we've got some plans. So like we are going to be on Steam. Hopefully, we're going to be on something like Steam. So we're going to possibly release the editor in some form. It won't be
nice.
We'll tidy it up a little bit and make it a bit more aggressive and let you make it much easier for you to deploy your own kind of levels if you want to do that. But
I think it'd be good if people could sandbox, their own levels.
Yeah, and they could do their own stuff, and maybe if they want to, it'd just be a nice tool for someone to have. And if no one uses it, well, there's no real loss because we needed it anyway.
Yeah.
But if the community, there's like nothing better than the community getting hold of something and just doing a better job of it than you.
Yeah.
Because you go like,
if somebody wants to bang out a couple of hundred levels.
Okay.
Fine,
Fine, off
really
you go,
good.
mate. Knock yourself out. We think that's great. In fact, that would be brilliant because I'll be able to play them and get incredibly frustrated, and complain about how too hard the game's too hard. So we've got loads of these. There's about, I'd say at the moment, we've got about 20, 25 levels in, more or less. 4 worlds we're going for. So World 1's pretty much done, which is just bar the shouting. World 2 is where it starts to get a bit hot and hairy, as it were, in terms of the difficulty. And we're looking to do, I don't know, really, it's a fairly big game. We don't want to make it too big because I think people will get frustrated. It's an old kind of debate, isn't it? How long should your game be? I mean, people say, I want 100 hours of gameplay. It's like, well, I don't want 100 hours. I want 10 good hours. So it's parallax layers, basically, but it's real 3D. Just, what they call 2.5D.
2.5D.
We could tilt slightly, but it starts to look a bit weird. So it is a real 3D engine, essentially.
Yeah. It's just weird.
But we don't. And it's the nature of what we wanted to do. We don't want to do 3D. I mean, I don't want to do 3D, full 3D. Because, I don't know, I like working with sprites. I think if your idea is strong enough, you can get away with whatever you want it to look like, as long as the game's decent. If it works in 2D, then you might as well do it in 2D. So, interaction, isn't it? So first thing we need to do is place. So we've got thousands of assets. You probably get a hint of some of the other stuff that's in the game. Little physics balls, tennis balls, stuff like that. Little dog lights. The infamous toilet. That's our crafting system, which, as I say, all the assets are done. We just haven't quite implemented it yet. So there's the stash box where you keep all your stuff. So it's a system. The brains.
I mean, because the main thing is we've got loads of stuff on the go with it, so there's lots of extra levels and stuff. But
so this is one of our standard exits. The way we do it is, depending on how you flip it, it's the direction you come in, and we colour them depending on. So this is how we link levels. So we say green level 35 links to red level 23.
Yeah.
It's just really simple. It's pretty foolproof. So we can structure the worlds, and there's multiple routes. It's not like a standard puzzle, like your standard puzzler, iOS puzzler, where you go.
Yeah. Once you've seen a level,
it's a real world. It's a real living world, and things go on in it, and you come back to earlier levels and go to later levels. Like, up to you how you. Well,
because I mean that's the important bit. You can't always get to the areas on any given
because
level.
You haven't learned the thing you need.
Yeah.
So a lot of levels will have routes which are blocked off until it's just for people to understand that it isn't a kind of a series of puzzles.
Yeah, it's not 100 levels that you play.
Yeah,
in
order.
1 to 100.
Yeah, exactly. With certain ridiculous, rather dubious business practices to get you to unlock levels you can't. Really.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's like you pay for the game and it's all yours.
Yeah.
So you place a spawn, and we really need to place a platform. So these are some of the little platforms we've got. We've got loads of these little things, different types, lifts, slopes, you name it. Pretty much anything and everything that we need and that you can do. little jumps, which we're not sure how we're going to use those yet. I changed the design of those. I might still use them. So we'll just go for, I don't know, what do you reckon, Sean? Metal?
Metal.
Where's metal gone? It's gone, Sean. I always get
He hasn't gone. Must be there. There we are.
Alright. Should start with some buffers. Up here. So you just, this is it, you just I'll place that different type there. On there. And we can just place place them down. Wherever we want, really. And this is the kind of, what would we call it? This is exactly how you in the game would place them. So in theory, if you had enough platforms, you could build the levels in the game yourself, like this. These are the ones that we place. These are the ones that are the bones of the puzzle, as it were. So it's always good to exit every now and again. So, because there's no Rusty on the level, because we've only just... Now if we go to it, he'll drop in. Because he's got a spawn. And he now drops in. And that's kind of like the start of making the game, as it were, making the level. There's no lighting on. Lighting doesn't apply until you actually put a light in the scene. So I'll just wake him up. He ain't gonna do much. That's like the world's most interesting level. But you get the gist. And that's really how we start anything off. The first thing we do is we have a notion of the puzzle. I mean, I'll scribble it out on paper. Oh, this would be quite interesting if he goes here and does this. There's a light here and he does this. There's a baddie here and you can use the sock to re-guide him around here, and you know, all that sort of, all these other mechanics that we've got. So I've put a light down, you'll see that. Put one on the background, foreground. So the different layers. So we can dress levels fairly easy, so we've got loads of different dressings, and we're adding stuff all the time. And these are just, they're sort of static things, literally dressage, literally, as you can see, the parallax, and we can change the Z on them, and
you can shift them around. They're not tied to the grid.
They've got, we kind of do a cheaty thing with the depth of field. Basic. Well, should we tell them how that works? Nah, trade secret. It's basically free and it's pretty fast. But so if I place it now, you'll see how we've got depth of field. We need to actually exit for it to set it up correctly. So there you go. So depth of field is automatic. Basically, anything on particular layers that we do will automatically have the depth of field applied to it. And this is all to do with focusing, making sure the play area is the thing that's the most important in the game. And these are all the little niceties that we thought, you know, we didn't have to do all that, we didn't have to do that, but I think it works well. So why not do it? It's a bit of extra headache for everyone, but once it's in, it's in. So then we can just dress levels however we feel. Flip things, rotate them, scale them, and very, very quickly create new levels. Now, a proper level, you know, you need to think about it beforehand. But if you want to test stuff really quickly, it's actually really useful to just have this ability. Go in and just very quickly go, well, I've got this idea for a puzzle. If I do this with this and this and this, in this order and this arrangement, how is that going to work? What are the problems with that? And you just build it, and you can build it within like 5 minutes and test it and go, oh, well, that works. And then build on it, because it's still in the game as a level. You just need to hook this level in now, whatever it is, 1, 2, 2, into the structure, and it'll link to it. The whole game will know about it and treat it as though it's part of the game. So it's all inclusive. It's holistic. Holistic is the word, Sean.
Is it?
I do believe so.
I'll take your word for it.
I believe
take
so.
your word and I will raise you.
So yeah. So that is how they break the levels.
Pretty much.
Which is in a very basic way, that's really it. That's all you need to know. Obviously, there's the things you put on the levels and how they work. And
so once you've learned the rules of,
yeah.
because everything's got very specific rules to it.
Yeah. So at the moment we're in. So we've got different groups as well. So in the editor we group things differently. So we've got group, which is kind of like the nearest levels to this one, isn't it? So it gives you
some context.
Then you can go to game, which will simulate what the game will actually show you. So if you're in the game, this is what you'll see. So if you're placing lights, it's good to go to the game, and you can see. Oh, the little flies are following it. I never noticed that before. Oh, that's sweet, isn't it?
There you go.
Little moss flying around. Oh, we can do something with
So
that.
imagine gameplay.
I don't know if it's
Apart from
gameplay,
they
but it
don't
looks
do
pretty.
anything.
It looks pretty.
So
Why have I never noticed that
imagine-
before?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So you get the idea. And we can put.
Well, they're particle, aren't they?
So and we can put. We've got these lights again, because the lighting system we use is some funky bodge. No, I didn't mean that. It's really well written.
Nice one.
It's not a funky bodge. I made that up.
No, it's incredibly fast.
But it is incredibly fast, and we can have, I don't know, how many lights can we have? 16, 32 before it starts to die on its arse.
16 would be okay.
16, which is fine, because the levels
Well,
don't.
on a total level, I mean, at any given point, you don't want that many in.
No, well, it does. The level looks rubbish if you do
Yeah.
that. Is that proximity light? Yeah, the proximity lights. They know about Rusty's position, so that is actually a really.
I didn't know it would do that.
Oh, I did. I knew about that. Bing, bing.
Of course, it's the on-off one, isn't the auto on-off? So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There
we've
you
got
go.
we've got quite a few different types of lights. Some that are this one's redundant now. We don't use this one now.
No, but we don't remove it just in case you change your mind.
Which I probably will.
Yeah.
And if we exit, well, then we're in the game. Everything just works as it would do. Did I put a light there? No, I didn't. So now we can actually switch the light on and off and stuff. And as you can see, very quickly build something that's playable and
Quite dark.
and editable, almost as quickly as you can edit it. You can play it again. It's almost instantaneous feedback, and it's called iteration. It's just so important to have an iteration on that.
Yeah.
When you're doing a game like this, where the tiniest change can have such a massive difference to how it plays. Just like where the edge, if you look, you can see where the edge of the light goes. That sort of halo that comes out. That's really important to his behaviour, because he doesn't like the dark. Yeah. And when he's in the dark, horrible things happen to his cogs and his heartbeat. So he's trapped in the dark now. He's terrified of the dark. So knowing where the boundary of the light is and how lights work and stuff makes a big difference to
Well, it's fundamental
to how you.
to the whole
But you
game.
do sometimes need him to go in the dark to get him to where you need to go. And so as you can see, these are all on sort of different Z planes. And they're kind of pre-baked into that position. It gives a fairly good kind of estimate of where we want the Zs to be to give us the best effect of the parallax on the 3D. But within a layer, we can edit the Z very sort of. We can do like micro edits on it. So stuff like
You can perturb. Just
the
about
arch.
anything.
That arch there is actually on the same layer as the as this arch here, but I've pushed it back in the Z very slightly, so you get a little bit of noise in the and you can see it here as well in the Z. And all these little subtleties all add up to give you this visual kind of cue of depth. So I don't know. I guess because it's a fairly impromptu devlog, we're kind of just winging this one, really. Yeah. I don't know. You got anything else to say? Sure.
Not really.
It gives it a hint of what the game's about and where we're going with it.
Yeah. It's,
But by no means is this. I mean,
it's not a traditional platformer by
it's
any
not
means.
really a platformer as such. It's a nurture game, and it's a pet game, and it's a crafting game. We've shown you, a little sort of vertical slice of kind of what the game's like in the first sort of few levels. But it does get fairly later on in the game. Yeah, I think people are going to go get frustrated, but nice frustrated, because stick at it and you'll solve the problem, and you might even work out what the special thing is to win the only physical copy of the game. That will be made by hand by me, and will feature metal and cogs and things like that.
Yeah.
It'll be really sweet. So anyway, that's that. So yeah, see you then. Say goodbye, Sean.
Yep. Goodbye.
Bye bye. 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 Get the rainbow music.
Yeah.
Americans won't get that. Oh, we've got our melancholy music at the end of it.
Yeah.
That will be playing about now.